Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. Our guest for the entire show tonight is Long Beach City Auditor Laura Doud. Laura, welcome back to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Laura was elected just about a year ago in an upset, defeating a long-term incumbent, and this year's gone by pretty fast, hasn't it, Laura?
It really has. I can't believe it's been a whole year since I talked to you last year.
Well, you set out with a bunch of goals when you came into office. Let's talk about some of the things that you've accomplished in the first year. And, of course, probably one of the best-known ones is that you did an audit. One of the first things you did was to order an audit of your own office. Tell us why and what that accomplished.
Well, thank you. First of all, I felt that before we went into any other departments to audit them, to make improvements for recommendations, that we take a look at our own office to make sure it's operating efficiently and effectively. And, you know, I've always had the goal of promoting excellence in government. I just wanted to make sure our office was operating at the highest level that we could, and I'm very grateful for this audit that took place. A lot of good results came of it.
Well, they say charity begins at home, and
That's
what
right.
better place to start, as you say, in your own office. What are some of the things that you've done as a result of the audit?
Well, we have now we're tracking our engagements. We have policies and procedures in place for the planning of our audits, for the field work that we do, for our reporting. We make sure that our supervisors are reviewing the work, that the work papers support the conclusions that we make. We're making sure that our staff have the needed continuing professional education required by government auditors, specifically government auditing training. So I'm very grateful for a wonderful staff that we've put together to make this auditor's office just a world-class office, and we have a number of goals for the future, and I'm very looking forward to the future.
And just for the record, you brought in a lot of new people in the office when you came in.
We did. We just have an exceptional staff of just true professionals that are doing an outstanding job with varied backgrounds, but with the common, I think, common theme of public service, committed to public service.
How
and
wonderful.
It really is. I feel very fortunate to be working with such an outstanding staff. I give them so much credit. Well,
one of the high visibility items that you were involved with was the ballot proposition, I think it was H, to increase the oil production tax to competitive levels, and that passed with a, I think, resounding 70%. And you and your office were driving force in getting that tax raised, which is not a tax on the residents of Long Beach, but on the companies that pull oil out of the ground, and that will generate $3.5 million a year for public safety.
That's right. Yes, it will. And, you know, this city ordinance was established in 1990, where oil companies are taxed 15 cents for each barrel of oil that they produce from the ground. And as we know, the price of oil has just about tripled since 1990, but the ordinance hadn't been updated.
So we were just leaving money on the table.
We really were, yes. And I was fortunate to work with Mayor Foster, the council members, specifically Councilmember DeLong, and working with the oil companies and coming to a fair and equitable amount, which was 40 cents a barrel, increasing it by 25 cents per barrel, which, as you stated, adds to about $3.8 million per year.
All for public safety.
All for public safety.
That's great.
Yes,
That's great.
So I was very fortunate to be a part. And it was very exciting to be a part of that team, actually, because, you know, it was, as you just mentioned, it was a ballot measure, and there was a certain amount of campaigning that we needed to do to ensure that it would pass. It required a 2/3 vote.
Yes.
So that was it was an uphill battle, but we all rallied together with the media, with the fire and the police and business organizations, as well as the oil producers.
And I think the credibility of you and your office added to the attractiveness of the proposition.
Well, thank you. We are certainly looking out for the best interests of Long Beach, ensuring that the city receives its full share of revenue.
You know, Long Beach is one of the few cities that has an elected city auditor. Laura is responsible not to management, not to the council, but to you and me, the people. And I think that's a great concept.
It really is, and that's why I'm very thankful that you have me on your show tonight, because it's an opportunity for me to get the message out to the public that I report to. So
we the people.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay, another audit ongoing but not yet released is that of the police department. Tell us about that.
Sure, thank you. And you know, just one more thing on the oil production tax. I think by the voters voting by 70% to pass this measure to be used specifically for public safety, I think really shows the public's willingness to invest in public safety. The mayor has also made it one of his priorities to add 100 officers to the police force. And so this was really a great opportunity for us to find the most effective way to put those police officers on the force.
And the voters were discerning because, as Laura mentioned, it required 2/3 as a tax measure, got 70%, but other ballot propositions on the same ballot went down to resounding defeat, didn't even get a majority, so the voters picked and chose.
Yes, I think the voters were very wise. They were reading, they were listening, they understood that this would not be a tax on them, the consumers, but only a tax on the oil producers. So, and back to the police audit, I think this was really showing the public's, again, their support of our police. And we're really trying to find the best and most cost-effective way of putting more police officers on the street.
So your audit is not looking for where money is disappearing or anything. It's a performance audit to see how they more efficiently deliver services.
Absolutely, and I do want to make clear that this was not a fault-finding activity or event of the police department. We had full cooperation by Chief Batts and his staff. They opened their books, they opened their files. We had full access to all of their information, and by their cooperation, this is just a fantastic study and report that I hope you'll stay tuned for, because it's coming out soon, and it's an excellent report. We've identified 12 cost-saving initiatives that will truly help the police department.
So they'll be able to do more with the same budget even.
Yes, and it will require some policy decisions by the council, but there are some just really great recommendations from that report. So
and the police department and Chief Batts cooperated with you in your audit?
Completely and fully. They shared ideas on how they feel the department can also be improved. So,
you know, it's always useful sometimes to get an outside eye, no matter how capable an organization is. Get someone from the outside, take a look. You can always find ways to do it better.
Right. Every organization does it.
Okay.
So,
probably true of Straight Talk, too. Okay, a major announcement coming up in the next segment. Stay tuned.